So, as a part of our Impact series, we have a third speaker, and she's none other than Mrs. Vani Murthy, and she is an excellent. You all have to go check out her profile because it is so inspiring. Because every time you see it, you just feel guilty on your part for not doing your role properly for the environment. So you all must go check it. I swear, it's just an amazing feed, or you'll just get inspired by yourself. None of this these chats and all that wouldn't just do the magic. Just her profile will do the magic.
So sweet
Yes,
of you to say that. Thank
yes,
you.
ma'am. So, ma'am, just before beginning the session, can you tell us how waste management and urban farming has come into your life and what does it mean to you? Because there are a lot of definitions that we have in our books and in the internet that we come across every day. But what does it mean to you?
Right. 10 years back or 11 years back, I wouldn't have connected the dots. And I connect completely, the dots are connected. A visit to the landfill, to the food that I choose to eat today. The dots are all connected. So it's about understanding waste, how much of resources that is getting lost. When I talk about waste, it is what is getting out of our homes, and not only impact on the environment, and also we are losing out great resource. 60% of what we throw is kitchen waste, that is peels and whatever after we eat, what we generate, and that is an amazing resource to build soil. That's the one that we need to put, that is organic matter that needs to go back to soil to grow our food. And that somewhere we have just lost that. So today we are growing food on lands that is completely deprived of any organic matter. It's dead. The soil is dead. There's no organic matter. There's no life, no life in the soil, and that's where food is grown. And that's not the food that we should be eating. So for me, to start composting, to grow my own food, to understand what real food is, and then make choices to pick food that is which is safe for me and my family. That's been an amazing journey.
It's very true, ma'am, because there's this one question that we also had about how our ancestors have been so efficient in living a sustainable life, but still, I mean, I'll come to that one. So moving on, the next question that we have is, we would love to hear one of your experience that you would want to share about waste management, or some incident that you had come across and that you would still reminiscence and would want to tell all of us out here.
Yeah, see, there are so many. Let me try to see what I can say. So when we started in the very beginning, we formed a team called SWMRT, a Solid Waste Management Roundtable. And also I had when we started, like Dr. Meenakshi is my friend and also like a mentor to me. She was the one who introduced, the project of let's do something with waste. And there were girls in my building. I'm in an apartment where there are 20 flats, and there were these young girls, 11 and 12, and they were running around. And once one of the mothers said, we have to engage them into some activity. So I just asked them casually, will you come and let's educate people about waste? We'll go door to door and talk to them about segregation. Will you come? They immediately came, and it clicked with them. It's like they were waiting for this to happen to them. And we would have this awesome campaigns, like we would roll out all our bins outside our building on the road. They make these posters and they will make all these lovely slogans. They had a placard saying, come and learn recycling from here. So we had a table and all that, we had the kitchen waste and we had the compost to show. People wonder, how can you make, compost from kitchen waste? Then we'll explain. So these bunch of kids were very enthusiastic, and I think they reinforced the thing that we need to continue this as a campaign. That was there. And they used to always say, why are people so resistant? Why can't they get it? Segregation of waste is so simple. And they started over a period of time collecting all the reasons people give for not segregating. So they said, we'll write a book, and that will be like a best-selling book. There are 100 reasons why people don't want to segregate. It's so I had such amazing time with these kids, and I think that's the start of my journey. to stay in this space and actually want to do continue in this space. Yeah.
That's a lovely experience. I mean, I just wonder and wish I would have been one of those 11-year-old kid, because all that I ever did was just some rot learning in a classroom under four walls. Moving on, the next question we have is, I mean, the generation we have today and the current contemporary world we live today knows a lot about waste management, but they're very poor at implementing it. As you said, we all live in these boxes of apartments, and there's a lot that can be done, but yet we lag behind the process. Do you think this problem has become a part of school learning, or is it something that has evolved throughout the years, ma'am? Is it something that must be reinforced in school, or how will you want to address this problem? That's
Yeah, I
my
think it's
question.
more to do with the society shifting, the way we consume, the way we, buy stuff. They can afford. So I think over a period of time, convenience became very important. If you go back to times, people lived very sustainable, and there were values, there were principles. They used to save for a rainy day. Today you get something, you want to spend it. You want the best of everything, and you want to spend it. So I think that shift has happened in the society, where we can afford to buy more, so we buy more whether we want or not. So it's like there is limited resources, where this planet has limited resources. We just are trying to exhaust everything. So, and that has not been consciously put into children, that this is not the way we live. So there is something that, like a sensitization, that should happen, that we are wasting so much of resources, whether we need it or not, we buy it. So how do we consume less? So it's more conscious consumption. So minimalism was a very, very big part of all our lives, especially middle class. They were very minimalist. Wherever they needed to buy, they wouldn't go and spend unnecessarily. Once a year only you would get a new dress on a Diwali or something like that. So there was a lot of the values that were attached, because the affordability and the time we lived. But then this time, it's like the child sees another child with another gadget, he immediately wants. Whether you can afford or not, you have to get it. So it's like there is a complete shift. I think in schools, if we can reintroduce what is being with nature, how do we connect with nature, what are the things that are important, how is our consumption impacting the environment, and how is it impacting the coming generations, what we're not leaving anything for them, nice things to them. So these are things that I think we can introduce back to the children. It's never too late to go back and reintroduce all this. And so we came out with a book called Trashonomics. In our team has come out with a book called Trashonomics. It's a 5-chapter book, amazing book, with lovely, small. You can do some experiments and small, very nice, well illustrated book. So I think we should reintroduce to children the importance of what they are generating as waste, and what is waste, what is not waste, what is recycling, what is composting, growing, have a kitchen garden in the school.
Yeah.
So you get them back to nature, make them start falling in love, doing things that are close to nature.
The next question we have is, being students in college, myself, I'm a student in college, and also two working professionals, what would be a piece of advice that you would want to give to, I mean, even the smallest of changes that we do would actually have a greater impact. So to all these professionals and students, what would be a piece of advice?
Well, I think it's the practice that we need to have, a conscious practice. Its convenience has become the thing. It's very convenient for us to do things. We would do things without mindlessly, without thinking we are doing. So if we could become mindful of our wastage, and look at more healthier ways to live, because if we need to keep ourselves strong today with COVID times, we all know that immunity is so important. Everybody's saying drink this kashaya, drink that, drink this, because you have to build your immunity. But I would say that to build your immunity, you need to eat good food, not the colas and the burgers. They are the foods that are completely devoid of any nutrition. The foods that are refined, they are not going to give you any nutrition. And also the food that is grown chemically, without any organic matter. Natural farming is something that we all need to look. So I think the shift needs to happen, and I'm sure youngsters are also sensitive to this. If they just start looking at there is another track. You're not just getting sucked into something that's taking you away from being a caring person, because as human beings we are naturally nurturing. So we need to nurture this planet. It is giving us so much. What are we giving back to it? So today we all talk in a very big words like climate change and yeah, greenhouse gases and this and that, but our garbage itself is creating methane, which is the greenhouse gas. So we need to connect the dots. Like I told you, my dots got connected over a period of time, and I realized landfill to eating safe food is completely connected. So yeah, I think all of us have a chance. Once we are aware, I think we all make that shift. We take actions. Every day you can do an action to mitigate climate change. Every day, by just segregating your waste and composting at home. That's it. You're directly impacting the environment around you.
It all lies in every single step that we make. I mean, I've told
Yes.
that this in every video series we've had, but I believe in that a lot. The next question we have is, how can we formalize the largely informal waste segregation sector in India? How can we actually formalize the segregation waste in India? And in order to improve the current waste management practice in infrastructure, do you think that not just us, do you think that industries and the government has a role to play in it?
Absolutely. Everybody has a role to play. First of all, most of the waste is in an inorganized sector, because you see waste pickers, like the people who are walking on the road, picking up waste. They are all people who are pulling out something that is of value in the waste that we throw. They're looking at, it's their, actually they're earning their bread by selling that. That's their life, their source of their livelihood. But then moving from an informal sector and getting them into a formal sector has happened in Bangalore. We have something called the Hasirudala, where they have brought these people, and they now not waste pickers but waste managers. They manage the drivers collection centers and all that. So it is, it's in multiple ways you can bring a system. It's not just the government or the municipality or the people, different service providers. It's also the individual. So if I say my waste is my responsibility because I'm the generator, and then it moves to the next step is, how do you get proper systems that align to what I want? No, I'm going to segregate my waste. I want to compost my waste. I want all my dry waste, which is recyclable, to go to a place where it can get recycled. And then there is only 10% of the waste which is to be taken care or scientifically managed. That is the reject waste, which could be sanitary waste, which could be things that are hazardous to us. That's only 10%. So it is a system that should align to what the citizen wants, and the citizen participate in the management of the waste of the city. So it's both ways. It's this way and that way. And of course, we have a lot of service providers that can come in. There's enough space for so many people to come in as players who will also enrich the system, and finally we'll have something. So enforcement is another problem, and you have mafias, and you have so many things going. But the passion that we have in our team it has not stopped. We still talk with a lot of passion about waste. We are trash talkers. We call ourselves the glamorous garbage girls. Most of us are girls. And we talk about it. It's a drawing room conversation, not a backyard conversation. So we need to make that it much more easier for people to talk about what is a sanitary napkin, how can you move to sustainable menstrual hygiene, going to the cup, the silicone cup, and also moving to cloth pads. All this should be in public spaces where more and more you talk about it. There are more and more people who are aware, because most people are not even aware that there is a silicone cup that can replace your disposable sanitary pad. A disposable sanitary pad is so bad for not only bad for us, bad for the environment also. So I think there is a long way to go, but no hope lost. At least in this lifetime, I'm not going to see an amazing system. It is going to take its time, but we all have to work towards it.
I think it's really important, and it should be a pivotal message that every person, not just girls, everyone should know about it, ma'am, because it has nothing to do with one gender. It's something that
Yes,
has to be,
absolutely.
yes, ma'am. So, moving on, the next question is from one of our teammates. So, the question was, the manufacturers around the world spend billions of dollars every year to produce. Uh, they produce packaging, product packaging to attract the consumers. It has also been observed in various studies over the years that packaging plays an important role in success of the brand. But however, product packaging is a major source of waste in India, and even though sustainable packaging is gaining attraction, how it is expensive and people also bear the effect of increase in prices. How do you think this can be solved, and is there some opinion on this fact that you have now?
So it's the extended producer's liability which has to come in play. It's a policy matter, so I really can't say much about it. But on our part, it's about our individual. It's always the individual journey that matters. No matter what it is. So you look at how you can reduce packaging, how you can be a person who can go to an store which doesn't give you packaging, right? Those days we used to go to the local kirana store and we take our own bags, boxes and all. So I'm a part of a CSA where I'm completely zero packaging. They send my grains in cloth bag. I just made a video, I'll put it tomorrow. And then my oil comes in my can. I send my own can the previous week, the next week I get. So it's a community supported agriculture. So it's a shift that happens within us, policy and what happens at a global level or a national level or a city level is something that has to be worked with groups of people coming together and demanding. We are in a democracy. We can demand what we want. But there are so many things that come into play. So extended producers liability is very important. That's up. That should be coming soon. Yeah.
Moving on, about the countries dumping tons of waste in the disguise of second-hand goods to India. So, how do you think we can, as citizens, how do you think we can play a part? And any opinions on that as well, ma'am?
What can I say? When it's being dumped, it's cheap. When it's dumped, it is cheap. So it's made in large scale, whether it is food or it is products or electronics or whatever it is. It's always better to have something of quality. And even if you have very little, you have everything of quality and not something that's cheap that you have to keep buying again and again. So this is what is encouraging the single-use disposables. Like, you're using for a short time or one time or a few times and then you have to dispose because that's gone. It doesn't have, or it will go out of, you will not get a spare. So, it's always better to look at things that don't give you instant pleasure, but, keeps you going for a longer time. So if there is a value in the product, there's some kind of, I think long lasting features in that. Yeah.
Yes, that's wonderful to hear because quality more than quantity, but quality, always quality. Yes, ma'am. So the next question we have is, given the current situation, urban farming could have served us better with dwindling supply of food and other items. But however, there are several issues related to limited space in our homes and high costs of water and other such constraints that we have in everyday life. So the major issue, however, is again people lack time to do all this. So what would be your piece of advice to resolve this issue?
Well, urban farming is more than it's more than the energy that you spend, or the time that you spend, or the money that you spend, the space constraint that you talk about. Even the smallest spaces, if you start growing something, you look at it. What you grow is the safest food because you haven't put something that is it's toxic for you. You're not sprayed some pesticide, the chemicals that could harm you or your family. So it's just one step to learn about food itself. Growing your own food. You may not have a garden which will supply all your vegetables. There are people who are so you never know. The thing is about urban farming is it's about finding the true a farmer in you. It's about finding the farmer in you because I feel everybody has a farmer in them. It's about nurturing something. It's about growing something and eating something. It's a natural instinct, I feel. And if everyone experiences this, I think it will go a long way in their choices itself. It's a growth. It's just about stepping to the next level of understanding food itself. So once I started growing, that's when I understood what is nourishing food. what is food that is devoid of any harmful chemicals that we put into our body. So then my choices shifted, completely shifted. So that's important for us to understand. So it's not about the money or the time. And once you start gardening, you connect to nature so close. You have butterflies coming, you have birds coming into your garden. You have so many things that you're learning. Garden teaches you every day, it teaches you something about life. So you look at those than the things that stress you out, then you're not ready for gardening. So you jump into it, and then it becomes a part of who you are going to be. That's where it's going to teach you.
It's very true. It's so true. I mean, uh, moving on. This is one of our last questions, ma'am, so that next we can go on to the demonstration part. So sustainability is a simple yet a powerful term. Leading a sustainable lifestyle seems to be quite a task to the current generation, while our ancestors consciously or unconsciously had followed the same as a piece of cake. What keeps you going every day, and what is the source of motivation that keeps you going every day and just follow waste management? Because even for me, I believe that sustainability is not easy, but I would do anything to follow it to something that I would really want to. It's some sort of stability that comes over a time of practice. So what is your goal? I don't know, what is your piece of motivation that keeps you doing all this?
Well, it keeps me happy, every choice that I make towards sustainability, because you cannot be zero waste. It's a journey towards zero waste. It's always 10 years from now also I'll be going towards zero waste. I won't have a zero waste. So the sustainability has become a kind of new word, but that is to be conscious of the stress that you put on natural resources, the way you consume. So that's all. You need to just look at that and then see how healthy you can be by taking care of your own health, plus the environment's health. Because if we don't have good soil, we won't be growing good food. If we don't have good air, we won't be breathing clean air. So we need to keep that in mind, and then I think every day you learn. That it's nothing like I have lived sustainably. I cannot say I've lived 100% sustainable. I can't, because there is something tomorrow I will learn about how I can cut down on something, or shift somewhere, do something else. So it's a lifelong journey and lifelong learning. It never stop.
Yes, ma'am. That's true. I mean, that's true, and I've come close to realizing it. So, yes, ma'am. So, moving on, could you demonstrate a few practices or a few things that each of us can do in our everyday lives to practice waste management?
So it is about the first thing that we can do. The first and the only thing that we can start off is to cut down on anything that is single use. Anything that is used once and you're throwing it, we can all practice. It's a daily practice, conscious practice that we can do, starting from bottled water. So when you take an oath that I will not accept, I will refuse a plastic bottle. You go to a wedding, you go to a conference, you go to a meeting, you're in the train or the aircraft, just say no to it. So you carry your own bottled water. So many people say, oh, you have to carry so many things. Isn't it a burden to carry? I said, I'd rather burden myself than burden the planet by throwing things that are single use, right? This energy has been taken to make it, right? You pump out oil from nature, and then you mold a plastic with a lot of chemicals. Then it goes to a filling station, they fill water, and then you don't know whether that water is clean or not. Then it is kept in some storage. You don't know how humid it was and what kind of chemicals leached into the water. And then you buy it from the shop, and then you drink it once and throw. So it really does not make sense. So we as human beings, we are the only species that generate things that the earth can't digest. So this plastic will stay on the earth forever. So best is to say, I will not accept anything that is plastic. I will make my choices by having all the alternatives. So one of the alternatives for bottled water is carrying your own water. You can fill this in the airport, in the railway station, in a hotel, wherever you go, you can refill it. So you make sure that you have. The second thing is not to accept a plastic cover, a plastic carry bag, because this is again the one which, when get burned, it releases dioxins. It is there in your drains, blocking your drains, and we get all floods because a lot of plastic covers are, you wrap all your garbage in plastic covers and you throw. The cows eat food and there, which is packed in, which we tie up in a plastic cover, and the cow is eating the plastic also. Same way as they disintegrate in the oceans, even the marine life, they have nanoplastic which they are consuming. So we have to say no to a plastic cover, and as an alternative, carry our own cloth bag wherever we go. Whether we are going grocery shopping or not, make sure that there's one bag in your handbag or your backpack or wherever. Whether it's whether you're a college student or you're a working person, you can make this habit. And also today, there is a replacement for plastic covers. Like they sell these covers, or they give these covers saying this is cloth bag. This is not. This is polypropylene. So we also need to recognize what are the alternatives that has come into the market, which is again bad for the so they will say this is cloth bag and give you, but this is not. This is non-woven polypropylene bags. So we should not accept that. So it's best is to take your own. And also, we all love gifting, right? If it is Valentine's Day, you'll get a gift in a nice red, cover, and then a blue and different colors. So these that make this noise, they are not good for the planet because they are non-recyclable. And secondly, they become waste after some time. And also for your birthdays, putting all these plastics, balloons. So we have to move to eco-friendly, gifting and eco-friendly festivals and celebrations where we are conscious of things that are produced which will become trash, right? That's the conscious practice. So either a paper bag or some old cloth, a nice cloth you can wrap. You can become very innovative how you are giving presents. I have gifted presents to people in paper bags. I have gifted, I've put a box, whatever is there, in a paper bag, and I've gifted. I have not felt shy. I have not felt, conscious of it. Because for me, what is inside is matters, not what is in the external. So, it's like we don't have to pretend to be something which we are not. So that's like, in life also. So that's another thing that we need to be, careful about. And then other choices like a lot of people say paper cups are eco-friendly. They're biodegradable. They're made out of paper. But I'll bust that myth for you, because people have drink tea also in this. You see the watchman or the guy who's your driver or whatever, they'll be drinking tea several times a day in this. This is not, there is a secret there. When I put it into my compost, in between two layers of paper, there is a plastic. So you can see there is there is a plastic in between two layers of paper. So this is the lie that this plastic cup is biodegradable. It is not. There's no industry which will take this, because this is multi-layer. It has paper and plastic, so you can't recycle it. So this will end up in the dump. So we should make sure that you give your watchman a steel tumbler and ask him to drink tea, coffee 3 times, 4 times a day, but in a reusable. So the mantra should be reusable. So when I go, I have a kit in my bag always. I never leave my home. So will you ever leave your home without your cell phone or your key or, things that you need, your wallet? You need your wallet when you go out. So, but then we will, same way, I don't forget to take a steel plate, because I want to eat a vada pav. I love vada pavs. When I go out, I want to eat maybe a sandwich. I'm very hungry, but they will give in a cover, like in a plate like this, which has a paper at the back, but there will be a plastic which is covered with a coat of aluminum. So this is again non-recyclable because it's multi-layer. So I would just pull even when weddings, I have pulled my plate out, my tumbler out, my water out, and refused anything that is single-use disposable. It's just a practice, and I never accept tissues. I always carry one. If people come home, they don't get tissues in my house. I give them a nice cocktail napkin. You can wipe your hand, everything in this. I'll reuse it. I'll wash it and reuse it. So even my son's wedding, everybody were given cloth napkins. I had a box, asked them to put it back so that I can, reuse it for another occasion. So it is just small practices like that. You can always say no to a straw, a plastic straw. So you go to a pub, you go to a juice shop, you go to the, tender coconut guy. He will just put this and give you. Before he puts, tell the guy, you go to a club, tell him not to put the plastic straw. Give me the juice or the, cocktail or whatever without a plastic straw. So today, without plastic straw, they give you paper straws. Again, there is paper straw is single use, because you have used energy. You have cut down trees to make paper then made into a straw. So much of energy is gone. Again, drink once and throw. It doesn't make any sense. So carry your own steel straw with a nice brush so that you can keep it clean. Small things like that you can just shift. And the last thing that I want to talk to you, I have a lot of things to tell, But the last thing I would talk to you about is the sustainable menstruation itself, which is such an important part of managing waste, because the sanitary waste is terrible, because it is handled by people in the waste streams. People just throw it. You don't even know there is a sanitary napkin. So and also the sanitary napkin, which is being the disposable one which is used, they have a lot of toxic material. They have gels, they have bleaches, and a lot of things that are not good for our skin, and that's not good for us. A lot of this today, we have this PCOD and other things, no, they are all because of the use of this. So then this is disposable in a woman's entire period time, the years that she menstruates, around 10,000 to 15,000 such sanitary napkins we are throwing out. If only we can shift back to days when people were using cloth pads, which is like, now you get lovely fancy cloth pads for different, period time and all that. And also, there is this amazing magical, menstrual cup that has come out. I've gifted it when my niece came and started living with me for 5 years back. First thing I said, there's no sanitary waste going out of my house. You better start, getting used to this. So she says it's liberating. It's like one of the most amazing things that she cycles. She's gone to Leh, Ladakh. She's not disposed one sanitary pad there because she's been using a menstrual cup. So go look up the cups and talk about it, and learn about it. Start using it. So we have Green the Red as a campaign. Green the Red, and that's one thing. And also children's diapers. Their diapers are so they again have lot of absorbent material, which the gels, and this is not good for the baby's tender skin. So going back to cloth diapering is like one of the best things that a mother can do. And there are a lot of young mothers who are so proudly saying they cloth diaper their child. And these are small things, like instead of using a clip, these clips that are made of plastic, they break because they are in the sun. So I have gone back to clips that are wooden. These are wooden clips and steel clips. So I have stopped buying new clips which are wooden. Then going back to saying no to a plastic brush, and having a bamboo brush. Every 3 months I change my brush, so I go for a bamboo brush instead of plastic. So I'm not generating that extra plastic. So small shifts that we can all do, over a period of time, and feel proud. The thing is, there should be a pride. There should be a pride in what we are doing, because it's very important for us to care for ourselves and for the planet and leave something behind. So there's a lovely saying, which has stuck in my head for a very long time, that you don't inherit this planet, but you borrow it from your future. So it's if you go deeper into it, there's so much meaning in it. Something that you have borrowed, do you really destroy it? You've taken a book from someone. Do you tear it and trash it and then give it? No, you either give it the way you received or make it better. Maybe the cover was gone, you add a new cover to it. Something. It's a borrowed book that you have taken. So how are we having the right to destroy this planet for so many generations that are ahead of us? We are the only species that generate things that the earth can't digest. Every other species in this world, lives so in sync with nature. So we and they are trapped with us. Most of the creatures are trapped because of our selfish and greedy ways to live. And I think the change needs to happen, and I'm sure it will happen with youngsters like you all, taking the lead and wanting the change to happen. I'm sure. I have big hopes, because I see so many every day on social media. I see youngsters who respond to what I'm saying or what I'm sharing, and it gives me a great hope that there is an amazing future for this planet, because everybody have started realizing that each of us can make a difference. We don't believe that. We say, if I do, what difference will I make? No, it's that belief that I can make a difference. That's so strong.
That is so true, ma'am, because again, it lies within us. It lies within every single one of us. But ma'am, the things that you showed us, and I didn't really know that paper cups had plastic, because I genuinely thought paper cups were degradable.
Eco-friendly.
Yeah. It's actually, I think we'll all have to dig deeper into all these things and figure out what's actually good and what actually seems to be on our, do not judge a book by its cover. Again, every single thing that our ancestors have told us come
Yes.
true in every single part of our lives now. the more we look deeper, the more realizations I come across.
There
I
are
just
some
keep
questions that you want to ask because people are asking some questions. Please answer my questions. I can't
the
multitask. So,
Ma'am, can you let us? There's one question that says,
yeah.
can you let us know about the best community work that regarding sustainable development that you have been a part of?
Well, community, like in Bangalore, we have the team that is doing a lot of work in different communities, and we have leaders from different communities, giving being examples of how community-driven programs can. Because I think if a community gets a good leader who drives the entire program, all of them are doing it because they get zero tolerance to anything that is mixed, and all kinds of segregationist plays. In Bangalore also, for us, 100 kgs and above, if you generate, you have to compost within your compound wherever you are, the apartment and all that. So lot of lovely things are happening in as a community. So I think I have been a part of the general scene. But in my own apartment, we are doing segregation, and I told the kids were a part of what we started in our apartment, and that's something that will stay with me forever.
Ma'am, your neighbors are very lucky. I'm sorry, but your neighbors are very, very lucky. Ma'am, there's this one question Anshul Agarwal has asked. Does the toothpaste we discharge in water also pollute the water?
Yeah, if there are some nanoplastic, there are some toothpaste that have. So see, the thing is, a lot of chemicals get out of our homes, right from when you use the Scotch Brite scrubber, it starts to disintegrate and it is going in. So without our knowledge, lots of it is going. So, and also a lot of chemicals go, not just plastic, a lot of chemicals go. So toothpaste is only one of it. So I have stopped using chemicals at home. I use bioenzymes and natural cleaners like soap nut and other things. So yeah, I mean, there is a chance for all of us to, learn more and more and, put these into practice in our daily life. Yeah.
Ma'am, I remember seeing the coconut straw, I mean, the outer part of the coconut shell to be replaced instead of the Vim bars we use regularly. I think I saw that. I
Yes.
check your feed every day, ma'am, because every morning you put out a post, and I mean, I came to know recently that, I mean, it is just, I mean, I would suggest everyone here to just go look into ma'am's profile, because it's like your everyday source of motivation.
I'm
And
just having a lot of fun.
yes, ma'am. And one of our speakers recently, she's Garvita Gulhati. She's also from Bangalore, and she's been doing an amazing job in the water conservation sector. She had told that she was also your source of motivation every day, and she had also been there in the beginning of the chat, ma'am. She had left a comment saying, "Ma'am, you're the
Okay.
greatest source of motivation here."
So
Uh,
sweet of you. Thank you, Gavita.
Yes, ma'am. It's just wonderful to when I started out this series, I hadn't really expected, and I didn't know what I was going towards for. But our entire team, as a part of the entire team, I would like to say we are really grateful and thankful for starting this out, because now that every single speaker we talk with too, and especially after talking with you, it just pushes me more to do something better, to do at least the part that I can do for the environment, for the earth, and for the future generations. I mean,
That's lovely. That's lovely to hear from a youngster. It's music to my ears. Thank you. Thank you for that. And stay
yes, ma'am.
stay hooked on to that path because it's extremely important because you become influencers. See, the thing is, what you say will carry words. You see, you're not looking at pointing fingers at anybody, but you are trying to get programs in. Let experts speak. Your journey in learning goes more and more. Every day you're learning more by getting someone to speak on your platform, and more people are listening. So it's a great job that you're doing, and keep it up. Very proud of you.
That's really wonderful to hear from you. Thanks a lot once again, ma'am. And just we have one last question, ma'am, because there are
Yeah.
what measures are done in Bangalore by your team for recycling plastic?
Uh,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. So in Bangalore, we have also, its court has the court has actually enforced segregation. It's mandated by the court. And also the court said that we should have dry waste collection centers. We started off as a model dry waste collection centers. That is, no dry waste should leave a ward. So all plastic, paper, metal, glass should be collected and sent to there. Either you collect and go and drop it off, or if you're a large apartment, you can ask the service provider to come and pick it up, the dry waste collection center to come and pick it up. So that in that program, we found that, a lot of this waste can be diverted away from getting mixed. So people have to store it, clean it, and store it, because you have to hold it for some time. So every bit of plastic, if it's good grade plastic, can be recycled, right from your milk covers to your shampoo bottles to, everything can go to recycling.
That's really wonderful to hear again. You're just a source of inspiration. Every minute you talk, just how do I say, Mom? It's just seeing you out there, because everything that it's not just. I mean, you're a living example of how do I put it in? You don't really see things in textbooks and you just leave it like that. And then now you see someone who actually practices every single bit of what you've learned. That's when you actually understand that knowledge is just not within your brain, but it's also something that you have to preach and do in everyday life. So that's
It's
really, really
practice.
wonderful. Yes, Mom.
It's practice. Yes.
Well then, Mom, we'll wrap the session up, Mom,
Sure.
because the questions will keep flowing in, because again it's you, so a lot of people do ask.
Sure, sure, sure,
Yes,
sure.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for coming again, ma'am. It's wonderful, and it's our pleasure and honor to have you here once again.
Thank you, Santoshi. Thank you, Santoshi, and all the best to your entire team.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
yes, I'll look up all your posts and I'll be following you all. Yeah.
Sure, ma'am.
Thank you.
And I hope I meet you someday as soon
Oh,
as all
please
this
come
pandemic
home when
ends.
you come to Bangalore.
Yes,
Most,
ma'am.
it'll be most, pleasure to meet you.
Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Thank you for the session today, ma'am, again.
Thank you, and bye, bye. All
Yes,
the
ma'am.
best. Bye.
Bye, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.